What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today I have for you guys an exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'd love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor. Hit the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate everyone. Really helps push the video out there so more people have a chance to check it out. And feel free to let me know what you are carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. So this is a petrified fish here. This is going to be the PFE08 satin K110 green Damascus handle. And this one looks really interesting because it is a button lock and nice little packaging there, sticker, microfiber cloth, and extra hardware. Great little packaging there from Petrified Fish. All right, we'll leave that up there. So the PFE08, we're looking at black and green Damascus for our handle material there, back spacer. I believe that is a titanium pocket clip as well. Yeah, nice. And there's no hardware visible, so that's going to look very clean in the pocket. We have dual thumb studs and a rear flipper. The blade is nicely centered and it has pretty good action there. Nice springs. We have a satin finish on this guy. Going to be coming in K110 there, as you can see, PFE08 and K110. And then we have the maker's mark back there, which I'm not sure who that is. And I can say the button is a little bit smaller than a standard button lock, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm just noticing it that it's a little bit smaller. And they do have it down in a recess there, but it's very easy to get to and very easy to disengage. Definitely needs a little bit of break-in, but that's not a bad thing at all. The flipper tab, it's not near as satisfying as the thumb studs are, but it works. You can light switch it and you can push button it. It's a little lackadaisical. The thumb studs are definitely where it's at with this guy. Thumb flick, reverse flick. Let's check this on our issuing stitches Hank and see what it looks like in the pocket here. It's going to act a lot like a standard milled clip. You'll have a little bit poking out of the pocket, but like I said, it's going to look really clean in the pocket. You have no visible hardware, just a little bit poking out there, and that'll be a nice amount to be able to grab the knife and pull it out of the pocket. Good retention on that clip. And to talk about the K110 a little bit, I've had some people ask me if K110 is D2 and is D2 K110 and questions like that. Now, whether those people are watching this that have asked that, but I've had that question a couple of times more recently. And, you know, I'm no metallurgist, I'm no specialist, but the way I look at it is D2 is a good steel, right? Especially when it's well done. But D2 can come from anywhere, right? So basically, K110 only comes from Böhler. So it's held to a certain standards at Böhler. It's held to a certain process at which it undergoes to become that K110 from Böhler. D2, if done properly, is going to be very similar or exactly the same. But that's the thing, when it comes to D2, you don't know what kind of D2 you're getting. So basically, K110 is D2, but all D2 is not K110, if that makes sense, because there's definitely very crappy D2 out there. Now, if you're buying D2 from a mainstream company like Petrified Fish, which I don't think they use D2, they use K110 only, I think. But say like Kubey and other companies like Kubey who run knives in D2, it's going to be pretty good stuff. But if you're buying something from, you know, some unknown company, then there's not going to be a guarantee that it's going to perform the way it should. So in my eyes, I would much rather have Bull or K110 than just random D2, but that's just me. Now, if I'm getting it from a valid company, mainstream company, like I said, then that's a little different. Then I'm a little more optimistic on it. But if it comes to a no-name company or some random company, I might not be as accepting of the D2. But in this instance, it doesn't matter because we're looking at the K110. But just for the people who were curious in regards to K110 and D2. But on to the knife itself. This is definitely going to be classified on this channel as a full-size knife because we are coming in at 8 3/16 of an inch overall, and we're looking at 3.5 inches of cutting edge, 3 3/4 of total edge. So definitely going to be classified as a full-size knife here, and it's a very slender full-size knife. It's not a big profile at all. It's not heavy. We have internal circular milling in there. The plunge lock seems to be very good. There's no up and down movement. There's no side-to-side movement. So for all intents and purposes around the pivot, it is nice and sturdy, nice and structural. Now the main question is going to be, how is that button lock holding up? I believe this is their only button lock model that I'm aware of, at least. And that's why one of the reasons I found it interesting and why I wanted to pick one up. And it looks really good, coming in decent materials, and it was a fair price. So I wanted to give it a shot. So we do have positive lock out there, and let's see if we can maintain that lock up here with some light testing. And we'll close it, open it again, double check, it is locked. There we go. And just one good one to go on, but that is nice and structural. Very good job from Petrified Fish. And I think I mentioned at the beginning, these are knives that I bought. The last couple Petrified Fish that have been on the channel are knives that I bought myself. I think I bought 4 or 5 of them, and all of them except one was fantastic. And it was a model like this I had a slight issue with. It was fantastic all the way up until the end. And then I had a little bit of an issue, and I made Petrified Fish aware of the issue, and they didn't hesitate. They sent a new knife right over because they said that knife shouldn't have passed quality control inspections. It shouldn't have passed inspections the way that it was, because they check for lock failures in a similar fashion that I just showed you. I asked them about it. I asked them if they do check them and how they check them and so on. And they do check them in a similar manner. And they told me the knife should not have been having that issue. It wasn't a severe case of failure, but it was still having issues staying locked up. Now I can say this one is passing with flying colors, not having any issues with this one at all, which is a good thing. So that's really a testament to Petrified Fish's customer service. If you get one of their knives and you have, a valid issue, a valid complaint, I think they will take care of you. That's just my general consensus. I think they will take care of you. But I do really enjoy this knife. It's got a clean show side on the blade, tons of edge there, working edge to get the job done. It has a relatively thicker blade stock, but it feels like it comes down pretty thin. We're going to check all that stuff in the overview. We have nice fine jimping here, very well done thumb studs, very comfortable, very easy to get to. Flipper tab is done well, but it does suffer a little bit because of that button lock and the springs. I think that's just how it goes. I've ran into that many times with button locks that have studs and a flipper. The flipper always seems to falter, and the studs always seem to do very well. So it's just something with the dual deployments and the button locks, and even normal knives, you know, with a frame lock or liner lock, they can have an issue similar where the studs or the cutout feels really good, and then the flipper tab feels very, you know, lackadaisical. So, you know, it does work, and it's just not extremely snappy. But that's because there's no detent. It is a button lock. So that's something to keep in mind if you know, looking at this knife. That's just something to keep in mind. But with that being said, the thumb studs work very, very well. Very pleased with the thumb studs. And I have to say, I probably with this knife would not use the flipper tab too much myself, but that doesn't mean someone else won't. And so therefore it is definitely worth mentioning. You guys will have to let me know, what do you think of this petrified fish right here, the E08? Love hearing from you guys, especially on these newer knives. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.